Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. So I don't know about you, but ever since it was announced that Ariana Madix was going to go on the Call Her Daddy podcast, I have been elated and waiting with anticipation for this interview. And we finally got it. And I'll just say it did not disappoint because Ariana spilled so much tea during the 2-hour interview with Alex Cooper, and we have so much to discuss. So I wanted to hop on here and break down my top 14 moments from the 2-hour interview for you, just in case you don't have time to listen for yourself. But before I dive in, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news. So, of course, Alex asks Ariana about exactly what went down on that fateful night that she found out. And it's kind of funny how Ariana describes it because she almost says that it was like a lightning bolt. And yes, she knows it's ridiculous to use that term, but a lightning bolt kind of came down on her and really made her check the phone. She goes into the stall at TomTom, she checks the phone, she finds the recording, and of course, Alex asked the question we all want to know. What is on the recording? Are they legally not allowed to talk about it? And basically, Ariana doesn't say anything, but Alex suggests that it was, a sexual FaceTime. And Ariana kind of smiles, so I think we can use that as confirmation. Then she shares the details about what went down after that. So they get in an Uber, they're on their way back. Sheena is on the phone with Ariana at the same time that Tom is on the phone with Rachel talking about what just happened. Like, oh my God. So they go back home and basically fight all night long. It is a battle war zone at Tom and Ariana's house till about 6 a.m. And he was mad at her. He was annoyed at her the whole time while she was literally screaming, crying, throwing up, like, obviously in shock hearing this news. And basically, he was just pissed off the whole time, which is no surprise. Alex then asked the question about Ariana, basically being ride or die for Tom and Raquel the whole season. And Ariana basically replies saying that, if these things were brought up off camera, she would have believed them more. But the fact that they were brought up on camera, she kind of thought it was just for the show, making drama. It was a storyline. A lot of times rumors come up on the show and they don't end up being true. So she just thought this was another instance of that. And unfortunately, she was wrong. So we know that Tom Sandoval talked a lot about their couples therapy in his Howie Mandel interview. And of course, Ariana is clapping back in this interview, telling us really what went down in those therapy sessions. So of course, they had a lot of intense sessions with the therapists, talking about their issues. The main one being that Tom was never around. He was always away. He was out partying or working on the bar or doing God knows what. And Ariana was at home, like waiting for him to come home, wanting to spend more time with him. That was the root of their issue.
I felt like he was not choosing me over like random nights out.
At one point, it got so intense and the therapist basically asked, so is this a breakup? And Tom said no. So we heard that Tom, said that he tried to break up with her multiple times, including in therapy. And this is proof that, in fact, he didn't. He said no when he had the chance to do so, and he could have easily, maybe not easily, but he could have been straightforward about it in this time, and he chose not to be.
Tom claimed he tried to break up with you multiple times.
I was never saying that I was going to kill myself.
Do you think he's a pathological liar?
They also talked about the infamous sleepover heard round the world that was, exposed by none other than Ken Todd. And the fact that Ariana knew about it. She knew about it the whole time. And this is because that they FaceTimed her the morning after. So when they woke up, of course, Ariana was away because there was a death in her family. And basically, when Schwartz, Scandoval, and Raquel woke up, they FaceTimed Ariana to check on her. And, she doesn't think anything of it. They're her best friends. They were out partying late. She knew Rachel had spent the night. And meanwhile, this whole time, they had been sleeping together and chose to FaceTime her anyway the next morning. Like, diabolical, demented human. She also clears up a lot of information about Valentine's Day. So on Howie Mandel, Tom Sandoval said that on Valentine's Day is when he tried to break up with her. And that's not quite a lie, but she shares a lot more details about what went down. So they had plans to go out for Valentine's Day, which they did. He got her flowers. They went out to dinner. And who shows up but Rachel, accompanied by a couple of their other friends. But the Valentine's Day kind of turned into a group thing. And, they were all partying. And she said they kind of got wasted. And I think that led to some drama because she said that kind of, sparked an altercation between them that lasted all night. They were fighting all night after they got home, to the point that they were talking about breaking up. Tom was talking about having a midlife crisis. He wasn't sure he wanted to be with her anymore. And basically, Ariana clears up the fact that she never said that she was going to harm herself if Tom broke up with her. She clarifies that what she meant by that was that if he broke up with her, she was going to leave LA. She was gone. She was done with the show. She was leaving the city. She was deactivating her Instagram. Like, this life as she knew it was going to be over. And so, no, that doesn't mean she's going to kill herself. She said she was maybe just going to move on to the French countryside or, just live a different life than she had been with Tom. At the end of the night, even though they were talking about breaking up, they decided that this was a rough conversation and they were going to keep talking about it. Nothing was decided on either end that they were going to call it quits. Ariana basically said that if you want this to be over, Tom, you are the one that is going to have to end it because I am committed to this relationship. So it was all in Tom's hands at this point, and he did nothing to make it known to Ariana that he was done. He should have left. He should have, it would have been really, really rough and sad on Ariana, but he should have left when he had the chance. So we've heard about this kind of plan, this master plan that Tom had all along, that he was going to tell Ariana. He tried to tell her, he was going to break up with her before the reunion. And Ariana has a little bit to say about that. She did share that there was a text from Rachel that she found to Tom that said something to the effect of, I just talked to a mutual friend and they said, be honest with Ariana. Not about the details of the affair, but she deserves to know about this. I love you. You got this. So basically, during this time, like weeks leading up, probably in between, Valentine's Day and when this came out, they were basically workshopping this master plan of how to tell her, how they were going to make it work. And of course, it didn't go down the way they planned. She also shared what their master plan actually was. So she thinks the whole time that Tom's plan was to end the relationship without any mention of the affair. So he wasn't even going to mention Rachel. He was going to use the excuse that he wasn't happy, they weren't having sex, etc., etc. And then slowly start to hang out with Raquel and form that relationship, in front of her eyes. So, of course, it didn't happen that way. And Alex asks, if it didn't come out, would Tom and Ariana still be together? And she basically says no, because this plan would have come out, in some form or shape at some point. So by now, they would probably be done, though. So let's now talk about the open relationship rumor, because of course that was going around. It was a storyline on the show, and Ariana thinks that Tom is actually the one that started this rumor, and that makes a whole lot of sense.
You and Tom were not in an open relationship. Why do you think that rumor started?
I think it came from him.
So she said that Rachel actually told a mutual friend that she thought they were in an open relationship because Tom was the one that told her. And of course, he denies it. But I think that this was all part of the master plan. He was planting these seeds, the open relationship, the not happy in the relationship, the not being intimate, not connecting. It was all part of his plan. She shared that Tom actually brought Rachel home to St. Louis more than one time.
Do you think you ever turned a blind eye?
Yes, bringing Rachel home to St. Louis.
So we know that he brought her home to, visit his family for the holidays. I don't know if they actually saw his family or what, but basically he was flying her everywhere with him and putting stuff on other people's credit cards.
He was using other people's credit cards, flying her to different places,
hiding it one of the most shocking revelations of this whole interview was the fact that during that Watch What Happens Live appearance with Tom and Tom, now this was before Scandoval broke. This was before the affair news came out. They were talking about the show. There was a lot of weird questions. Tom Schwartz, was looking to Sandoval for answers. And we know his symbol of lying, putting his, hand on his face a lot. During that Watch What Happens Live, Rachel was back hiding in the hotel room. Like, mind blown. This is insane to the point that, Tom Schwartz, I lose all sympathy for him whatsoever. Not that I had a lot to begin with, but it's getting weird at this point. It was almost like they were in a throuple because Schwartz was so involved in this affair and so involved in the cover-up. It's insane. They talked about the Billie Lee rumor. Of course, there's rumors going around that Tom and Billie Lee hooked up and he maybe cheated on Ariana with her. And Ariana basically debunks that rumor. She said, although I felt this way about Rachel, I do trust that Billie Lee would not do that. She said they've been in contact, they've talked about this, and I guess Billie Lee has denied it. But what she didn't kind of talk about was the fact that Billie Lee has been spotted with Tom a lot recently. She was even spotted, walking Ariana's dogs at some point from their house. So I don't know where their relationship stands right now. I think they're okay, but it kind of seems like Billie Lee has taken Tom's side. So kind of says a lot that Ariana is still having her back. There's also this revelation about what Ariana thinks went down one night at her house. So of course, a lot of people come hang out at Tom and Ariana's house. It's kind of the party house. They're up till 2 a.m. Ariana usually goes to bed early, but as a 28-year-old failed pageant queen, you don't have a lot to wake up for the next morning. So of course, Raquel was there many nights partying with Tom, and she thinks that one night when she was in the guest bedroom staying over, that Tom snuck out of her bed to go have sex with Rachel and then return to the bed with Ariana.
He and I went to bed in together, and then he left the bed and went to the guest room and fucked her.
Like, how sick and demented do you have to be to do something like that? She also answers the question, did Lisa know the whole time? Everybody, acts like they were so shocked about this news when Lisa Vanderpump brought it up on the show and was the one who found out about the sleepover and kind of thought it was sketchy. So did Lisa know? No. Ariana is pretty adamant that Lisa did not know, and she has a good reason why, because if she did know, Lisa would have brought it up on camera while they were filming. I mean, this, of course, as we know now, is reality television gold. And if Lisa knew this was going on, she would not have filmed the season without bringing it up. The fact that it happened months later and came out to everybody's surprise was actually a nightmare for production. She shared that they actually had to pick back up filming and borrow the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills production crew to film these Scandoval episodes. So, I mean, if Lisa knew or anybody in production knew, it would have come out when they were filming, not 6 months later when they had to start up all over again. And finally, Ariana talks about her new man, who I am so happy to see her happy with. And, a lot of people think that she's moving on too quickly. She jumped into this rebound relationship, but it actually hasn't been that fast. She did share that they met at that wedding in Mexico she went to just shortly after the news broke, and they kind of just hit it off. They stayed up talking all night, and they continued to FaceTime and talk on the phone for months after. So it was kind of a slow burn, and, she kind of set the precedent. I'm not ready to jump into anything. I just want to hang out and have fun and kind of get to know you. And he was totally on the same page. So they just had, some amazing conversations and really connected on a deeper level. And I think that's what Ariana needs right now. So I am so happy to see her happy. This interview on Call Her Daddy was so epic. It gave us so much to discuss. And I just can't wait for the reunions, We think that we've seen it all, but I think we're going to get even more over the next 3 weeks. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news or reunion recaps to come. We will have it all right here.